The events as portrayed in this video may be inaccurate or misleading. Everyone involved in the making of this documentary was somehow involved in the events and its attempts to document. Although this video was made with historical and archival intentions, we are all biased. The events that were shown or omitted were also decided by said biased people. Do not harass or send hate to anyone mentioned in this video.
Nova's Trunk, a modern server with traditional Discord values.
I underestimated how far he was willing to go.
What he was willing to do.
Visit the historic NovaCraft server and enjoy local cuisine at one of our 5-star bases.
Tracing them wasn't enough. Luke NovaKnight confessed to us in a message.
Or spend the afternoon in the VC and take in its digital splendor.
Luke had no idea what he was going to unleash.
Nova's Trunk. Safe, non-family oriented fun. Make it your next online destination.
This server survived the mod conflict of 2020, the microjam fight, and God knows how many trolls. But when Glurg left the trunk, he inflicted more damage than all the trolls combined.
August 2nd, 2019, 12 p.m. The year's Game Maker's Toolkit Game Jam has just begun, and the theme of the jam was only one. Someone was about to stumble upon this game jam. His name was Luke, aka NovaKnight. Little did he know that he was about to change the world. Nah, just kidding. In reality, he made his first public game called The Last Light, a short platformer made in Scratch. The game would go on to get little to no attention, but one thing was clear. This was going to be the start of something. Although he didn't do very well, he really liked being part of the game jam. He even planned on hosting one himself, but he wasn't sure when to do it. With lockdowns beginning around the world and without school keeping him busy anymore, Luke took this opportunity to finally start a game jam of his very own. And on March 20th, 2020, the Stay Safe Jam would commence. The jam didn't do bad considering it was Luke's first, garnering 13 submissions. Even though some would consider this a pretty bad turnout, Luke really enjoyed running the jam, streaming people's games on his Twitch and having fun just talking to the participants in Discord. As the jam came to an end, the activity in the jam's Discord naturally started to fade. Luke, though, didn't want to lose these newfound friends he had made.
It was actually a kind of refugee server itself from another server I had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I actually never heard of that. What was that other server?
Well, the other server was a server that I was also the owner of, and it was a jam server. So I hosted this jam called the Stay Safe Jam. And it got featured on Itch. It was my very first jam I ever hosted, and I was like, oh, wow, this is super cool. And so I decided to make a Discord server for it so people could, make teams and stuff.
Yeah.
And, 60 people joined the jam, which is more than most jams, but obviously not a lot.
Yeah,
and
that's a really big success.
And there were some people that, really enjoyed talking to each other in the server. But I was like, oh, but this server is for, this jam. I don't know why I would keep it up or whatever. And so I was like, well, I have this YouTube channel that I posted the theme to the jam on. So what if I just started making content and I made a Discord server for that? So I made the new Discord server and I was like, yeah, this is perfect. So I pinged everyone in the other server and I was like, hey, you guys should come over to this server if you want to see more stuff from me. And a couple people did, not a lot, but a couple. That's actually how Audrey ended up joining. He or she was
While Luke's games would get no attention, he had at least some traction on Twitch. Around 4 viewers, but they were viewers nonetheless. He would stream himself playing games, rather than coding games in Scratch. He would very slowly gain traction from doing this, and would promptly make a Discord server, Nova's Trunk. Within a few minutes of its creation, 4 people joined: Timbu352, Chad Flexington, Dude Guy, and Nick. Timbu, Chad, and Dude Guy were friends Luke made during the Stay Safe Jam, while Nick was a lifelong IRL friend of Luke's. Not much happened on the first day, or the next, or the next, or the next. But Luke continued to stream games and participate in game jams. Some games would do worse than others, and even the expansion jam from May 9th only got 1 submission. But undeterred, Luke continued on and found growing success in viewership and in game making skill. As Luke made friends doing jams and streams, he would direct more and more of them to the Trunk. With new people, the Trunk would become more active.
During this time, several notable people joined. On May 12th, Krogs from the GMTK 2020 Jam. On May 15th, Llama joined from the Expansion Jam, and Hazzy and Blacklight from Luke's streams. On the 18th, Glurg from another one of Luke's streams, and finally on the 21st, Dewey from the Benbunk server. Then, in early July, Luke decided to record a fun video where several people on the server played Mafia in a voice chat. And this game was Luke, Nick, Taha, Curve, Chad, Krogs, and Jellybean. This is one of the first times the community came together for something really fun and memorable. Luke's channel became central to a lot of the culture on the server at this time, with stuff like his pixel art tutorials and old Skater Snake project. This is also the time that Microjam started, where people would submit pixel art to a weekly contest. People had a lot of fun submitting their art, improving their own skills, and laughing together at the funnier submissions. This would build the basis of the community for the rest of the Trunk's existence, and Becoming Trouble would also mark the first drama on the server. A new user, Blacklight, would join. He would cause chaos and generally be mean to the server members he interacted with. He would eventually get banned from Noah's Trunk before going to one of the servers the Trunk is associated with, saying the N-word, and then getting banned from there too.
During the late summer and early fall of 2020, Among Us was the shit. Now, just remember, this is largely before all the ironic Among Us memes became popular. At this point, everybody unironically enjoyed playing with each other. Many even consider this time a sort of golden age for the server, a time when you could come on to the server at any time and there would be people in chat. What was your favorite single moment on the server?
There's a lot. Let me think.
Okay, well, list all of them if you want.
Like, I really enjoyed hanging out on NovaCraft, playing Among Us, playing on the Game Night Realm, etc.
What was your favorite moment on the server?
That's a pretty difficult question. I think it was the first time we had like 8 or 7 players in Among Us.
While the server was on, what was your favorite moment on the server?
I don't know if I can come up with a favorite moment, but I can definitely come up with a favorite kind of like time period. And it was definitely when...
Your favorite era? Ooh.
Yeah, era of the server, yeah, I guess you could say. It was definitely, and I know this is going to sound stupid, but it was definitely the Among Us era. And that basically was when everyone was just so chill with one another.
Yeah.
And we were all like, all right, let's get into VC and let's play Among Us. And
yeah,
then
we just played Among Us that summer.
And then we did it for like 3 hours straight. Like we would always do it for a really long time. I think I really liked the kind of community aspect that came with that.
NovaCraft SMP also started up around this time. It was a great time, but at the beginning it was only Luke and Nick on the server, until one member who never interacted with anybody very much joined. That person was Glurg. He took over a village and made it his home. Luke and Nick on the other hand created Dune Bar, a town in the sand. During this time, Jimmy, Gale, and Hotshack would also join. With them, activity on the server increased considerably, and naturally this caused small disagreements and fights in-game, but these were resolved fairly quickly. This is the point at which the community was at its strongest. It was very tight-knit, but this was to its detriment at times. The tight-knit nature of the community and its inside jokes made it a little difficult for new people to join in, and although the Trunk server continued to grow with dozens of new members, most of them just joined and didn't really say or do anything. Of course, this happens in every server on Discord, but the problem was likely worsened by the close-knitness of the server.
I always felt like the server, it wasn't welcoming at all. I felt like it was just like this little, basically just like a group chat, which is kind of an issue. It's kind of like, it's just like this group, and it's kind of like hard to get into and stuff like that. And like,
Okay.
if I wasn't in the group, like I probably wouldn't talk there, you know. People joined because like they didn't see anything because they checked the chat, and it's all inside jokes and stuff they can't relate to. So
Yeah.
they just like leave or either just like stay in the server for like Luke's announcements and stuff like that.
Everybody on the server, though, had some of their best memories during this time. What was your favorite single moment on the server?
I was having a really bad day, and then, and then I checked my Discord, and I had over 150 pings on the
Holy
NovaKnight
shit.
server. And I checked, and it was the entire VC spam pinging me to join, and like I was having such a bad day. Like just imagine like opening Discord and there's over like fucking
Oh my
200 pings of just your name.
On September 18th, 2020, Dewey decided to create something that was technically off the Trunk server, but still had the Trunk community there. Game Night. The Game Night server was a place where many of the prominent Trunk members like Taha, Jimmy, Gale, Kerf, Krogs, Chad, Hotshack, Nick, Glurg, Luke, Dewey, and later Aaron would join. Every now and then, everyone would come on to play Minecraft minigames on a realm that Dewey bought. Later, people would even collaborate to create a massive world filled with custom minigames that mainly Luke, Glurg, Nick, Chad, and Dewey would create. The realm would create many more good memories and prove the creative talent these people possessed. But as this was an entirely separate server, the close-knitness was an even bigger issue here, as almost no new people joined the Game Night server during the entirety of its existence. The Trunk was still continuing to grow, but its growth was certainly slowing down. The inactive state of the Trunk server became more prominent an issue as there was the controversial disagreements on whether it needed more mods, which many thought was unnecessary due to how inactive it was becoming. This tight-knit community would continue to do lots of fun things together though. There was the creation of the Poop Shitters, which was a temporary team made for Winter Game Jam, where Glurg, Dewey, Crocs, and Audrey worked together to make a game called Melty Snowboy. It was a short little side project, and although there were problems, it once again proved how strong and fun the community was. They would go on to win the small game jam. NovaCraft 2 didn't go as good as the first one. Honestly, nobody joined. The only people that were there most of the time were Luke, Nick, Glurg, Jimmy, and Dewey. It is now 2021. Luke was still continuing to explore his passion for game design through game jams, when on February 2nd of 2021, he would release a jam game called Horde, which some server members, like Glurg, feverishly played during the day it came out, achieving ludicrous high scores. Over the next 2 months, the community would continue to be relatively active, but not really growing anymore. That doesn't mean they couldn't have fun anymore, like the time Dewey catfished Gale.
What was your favorite moment on the server?
The Addison arc.
The Addison arc, we're calling it.
The
Ooh.
Addison arc, yeah. It all started when we acted like e-girls in a VC with, of course, Dewey and Jimmy.
Okay.
We changed our profile pictures and our names. And then Dewey had the idea of making an alt account, a furry alt account.
A furry alt
And-
account even.
Yep, and adding it to the server. He didn't really do anything with the account for a while until like start of March. Basically, I went up to him. I'm like, what if we simulated a growing relationship between me and Addison?
Oh my
And on
god.
April 1st, I asked everybody to join VC, and then Addison unmutes, and they all find out that it's Dewey. people were like, Gail, I thought you had a chance, you know? I thought it was something was
Oh.
actually happening. I was like, no, it was Dewey.
But that doesn't mean drama couldn't still happen, as Nick and Taha will become a prime example in the coming months.
On April 22nd, most of the active members were in a game of Jackbox, playing some Quiplash, just generally having a good time. Then a prompt came up. What's something you wouldn't want to hear from a child? Nick, knowing something that's bad that you wouldn't want to hear from a child, was a rather controversial word. One of 3 of his answers was what could be considered a racial slur. Immediately people were upset, annoyed, and offended. Nick instantly began apologizing, but the damage had been done. The words had been said, and the people had witnessed those words. Everyone aside from Dewey, Luke, and Nick left the VC. Not too long after the Jackbox game, Nick tried apologizing to Gale and Taha. The apology was quickly written, and most likely made to reduce tension among the server regarding Nick. The apologies were not accepted. Messages began popping up in general and serious talk about Nick's actions. Since this event was still rather recent, people were being harsh to Nick, but at the same time going overboard. The information was fresh and could be manipulated, and thus it was. The problem had also begun spreading to other servers, primarily Taha's server, Taha's Tavern. Nick would end up being banned from the server. During the second day of the conflict, it was apparent that the people had begun taking sides in the conflict. Froggy, Glurg, and a few others had sided with Taha, while Jimmy and Dewey had sided with Nick. But some people would remain neutral, like Luke and Gale. Several other apologies had been sent out. Different ones were sent to different people, all of them original and sincere. While Gale had accepted the apology, his opinion on Nick was damaged, while Taha still refused to accept them, as he believed they were not sincere and were simply written to remove hatred from Nick. At this time, Nick was starting to see the worst of it. He was being harassed and severely criticized for his actions. He was being blocked by people left and right, being called crude names, and being slandered by fellow Discord members. His actions were, while still bad, made out to be a lot worse than they actually were. At this point, Nick had had enough and left the server, though he still remained active throughout other people's DMs. At this point, the argument was at its peak. Most people had taken sides. Little to no people remained neutral in the argument. In Taha's defense was Glurg, Froggy, and most of the members in Bearland, which was a lot. On Nick's side was Dewey, Audrey, and Jimmy. Safe to say, the odds were in Taha's favor. As the days went by without Nick on the server, members were relatively quiet on the situation. After 3 days had passed, Nick returned to the server. On the 25th, just one day after Nick had returned, the biggest argument of all had broken out. The argument roared on for almost an hour. Dewey and Taha were by far the most involved. Dewey would write 3 long paragraphs on the situation, as would Taha. In the end, this situation would be resolved after the final nail in the coffin would be laid. Nick would end up making one final apology, saying that he knew what he had done and that he would not repeat the same mistake. That would end up resolving the conflict, but would raise one question. Was the bond between the group of friends as tight and strong as it had previously been? Were the chains holding them together beginning to rust and crack? They didn't think about it much, though. They simply went on with their life and continued hanging out with each other. But at this point it was clear. This was the beginning of a rapid decline that would go on to kill the community.
The server was now in noticeable decline. Luke hadn't posted in a long while, and many members hadn't sent a message in a long time. But a new notable member still joined in May. Aaron, who fit right into the long-established community, still having fun along with everybody else in VC and in chat. Fun stuff was still happening with stuff like Gale Day, where Dewey and Jimmy bought a cake for fun and decided to put Gale heart thighs on it. Even at this point, the once strong community and fun server members continued to make memorable moments. Unfortunately, the server was at that point a sick and tired tree, and this was going to be its final winter. Audrey getting banned from Taha's server spilt into the Nova Trunk server, with tensions flaring up between Audrey and Taha. Then, Luke admitted to tracing Twitter pixel art, causing even more drama. In the upheaval, Glurg decided to leave the server for good. Can you also talk about why you left and what was happening around there if you want, or?
I'm not sure if I prefer to answer that privately and not have that on video.
The community may have been still hanging on, but managing a server with more and more drama and less fun, combined with his depleted motivation for making games and videos, Luke found his position of server owner as a growing burden. On July the 9th, 2021, Luke made the final decision to archive the server and end it once and for all.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I got into a call with Taha, and we were just kind of talking all night or whatever. And I like brought up like, hey, I was thinking about like archiving or deleting the server, and I was like talking to him about it. He was like, I mean, he was just like, oh, if that's what you want to do and you think that's the right decision, like then that's what you want to do and you should do it. And so I thought about it more, and I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna do it because just managing it and kind of dealing with everything that was coming out of it, because there's a lot of good that came out of it, but there was a lot of drama and stuff that I didn't want to be on my conscience, because like, oh, I own the server, so I need to do this, and I need to keep managing and doing stuff like that. So I kind of just came to the decision like, all right, I don't want to manage this anymore. I would just like to like leave it in the past, and then so I can move on to like different things.
Alright, so why did you first join the server?
Well, Luke NovaKnight, I've known him for about 12 years at this point,
Damn.
and then he invited me to his Discord server, I think.
Y'all
And
were
I
in
was like,
diapers when you met, eh?
yeah, pretty much. And I was like, yeah, I'll join.
What will you miss most about the server?
I think what I'll miss most is all the late night VCs. Yeah, we have Gamer Germany, but it's like it won't be the same considering Glurg's not there. I've tried to get Glurg to join, but Glurg won't join it. But I think like the main thing that I'll miss is just all the people.
It's the people that make
'Cause-
the server.
Yeah, and it's also terrible because I spent so long figuring out verification. I organized the server about 4 times.
Oh my god.
I did like 2/3 of the moderating. I was the only like truly active moderator, and I was the highest level in the server at 48.
Holy damn.
The person behind me was Dewey at 45.
What do you think you'll miss most about the server is my last question.
Just that it was sort of the place where everything began. It's like say seeing your like the first house you lived out just kind of like be destroyed or removed.
What will you miss most about the server?
Definitely the days where we would just like hop in the voice call, vibe around, and play games for like 4 hours.
Closer to like, when I joined the server, Luke made an announcement that this is not like a server for gaming. This is a game development server, but I feel like that kind of stopped being the case. Became more just a small group of friends gaming than a game dev server.
It was really wholesome. And although there was petty drama, I do really appreciate everyone that went on the server, because like, I don't know, it was really nice being friends with everyone on there. Also, I don't like Canadians. I'm banning Canadians.
Any second now.
Probably shouldn't ban Nazis in general.
Tits. The last 6-hour message.
Oh god.
Frog, are you recording?
I am, yeah.
Message out.
Oh my god. My god. Thank you, Dave.
I just
Several
want
people are typing.
to send
This is chaos.
the message I still ain't gotten.
It's 11:24. One of the last messages was Audrey giving me the cereal.
As the server ended, people would do one of three things. There was Gamer Germany, a server Dewey owned that hosted the majority of refugees who wanted to stay with the tight-knit community, headed notably by Nick and Dewey. This was basically a refugee server where nobody new really joined. Then there was Peace Place, headed mainly by Taha and Glurg, where they attempted to start a new and more welcoming community with some parts of the old one that was now largely gone. The rest of the trunk members simply did nothing, and faded away with the memory of the server.
He did in a day, and then he sent us a link to the new server.
Wait, Mama. What are you doing? Okay.
What?
I'm talking to somebody. That was my mom. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Alexa, give me a short fart. Alexa, give me a long stinky fart.
They weren't as cool.
That was a smelly one.
What is an angry fart?
Here comes an angry fart.
Do you have any closing remarks? Anything else to say? Or are we just wrapping up?
But the call went something along these lines.
Okay, hear me out. An escape room, but it's a job.
You're hired.
And they're like, gibberish man, he's your husband. I'm like, I'm not gay. But then I got into gibberish man, you know.
Any final last words?
Stream gamers on Crunchyroll.
Everyone merge.
This counts as an G.
No, I'm out of here.
This is not YouTube friendly.
Any last words before the interview is finito?
Subscribe to Call Me Carson.
I remember Dude Guy. Dude Guy was there. And then I made him
God,
a really I made him such a shitty profile picture, and he's been using it for over a year now. Like, fuck, Dude Guy, if you're watching this, change that shit right now. I am the cause of all destruction.
The cause of all destruction.
I am God.
That's canonical in the documentary now. It was all Taha.
Know who it is? It is I think. Okay, actually, I'm not sure if I fully remember who it was.
I see a dead body.
I was just setting up OBS the entire time. I don't know what's going on.
What do you think you'll miss most about the server?
I guess just like all the good times in the beginning.
Alright guys, I just want to say that it's been a pleasure making these videos. Honestly, it's just been a kind of grand old time doing everything. And if you've ever laughed at a video, at a joke in a video, or you smiled, or you've learned something about game dev or pixel art, then I am like eternally grateful for that, because just being able to help others and do everything that I can do with the videos is something that not a lot of people can do, and I think it's something that I at least wanted to try to do with the videos. And so if it did help in any way or do anything for you, then I know that I've done my job, and that's how things will always end up being. I know some people might be a little, you know, sad to see my stuff go, although my audience never really grew that big. I do know there were a couple people that constantly kept coming back, and props to you all for doing that. But honestly, I'm just not in the right mental state and for making videos right now, and I think it's just I'm just kind of done with it. Like, I did what I wanted to do, and now it's done. Now it's over. So, and everyone on the Discord server, and just to everyone in general who used to watch my videos and stuff, I just really hope you enjoyed any aspect of it at all, because that will mean that I've done what I set out to do. Anyways, that's it for today, guys. See ya, everyone.